All right, I am going to do the Guardian's Cryptic Crossword for Tuesday, December 24th, Christmas Eve. This video will come out on Christmas Day, which is also the start of Hanukkah. So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, or whatever other festival you are celebrating. Before I begin the crossword, viewer Jammy Smears, which is an Ivor Cutler album that I actually have in my collection, um, asked me about the private eye crosswords. Let's head over there and just take a look at that. Unfortunately, it can't be played online. I think that's what there's no across light version means. But I will definitely be printing this out and trying to finish it over the Christmas. Some of the clues are rather rude. I think they'd even make Paul blush. And then there's some quote in the shaded grid. Took a quick look. I was able to solve a few clues quickly, but others are going to take a bit longer, I think. Anyway, thanks to Jammy Smears for recommending that. All right, let's go back over to The Guardian. The crossword today is by Panga Kupu from New Zealand, who usually hides some Maori phrase in the grid. And so I did cheekily look up what is Merry Christmas in Maori, and it's something like Meri, M-E-R-I, Kirihi Mete, something like that. So we might be able to use those letters. I would think they would appear in these top cells, but we will find out. Let's try 8 across. President in the immediate future, blocked by the gods. Well, I wish he would be, but I feel it's probably a former president. And we're going to have a word maybe for the immediate future that is going to be blocked by, or it's going to have contained within it something for the gods. I'm thinking the immediate future might be soon, but I can't think of a president, certainly US, that begins with SO and ends in ON. Something, oh, Jeffers, no, too long, Johnson, too short, but maybe something Sun. The gods, apart from being deities, that's what they used to call the seats up in the balcony area of a theater, right? The gods. All right, let's try the downs. French biscuit, French politician, consuming one with donut separately. Well, I'm immediately thinking of macaroon and Macron, and I think Macron consumes a, meaning one, and then separately consuming an O for a donut. All right, so that actually goes along with it being MERI across the top. And by the way, there is a beard that goes with this hat, but I tried putting it on and I got a mouthful of fluff, so I thought, oh, I'm not doing that. And the hat is a little tight. I feel like it's squeezing my brain, which may actually help me. Anyway, diet, challenging to some extent. Eat away. Ooh, diet challenging to some extent. Yeah, so that's telling us it's a hidden clue within diet challenging, which it certainly is this time of year. We have etch, to eat away at something. And again, ME. So this should begin with R if I'm right. Enjoy, oh, it could be relish, hard currency, not against, piling it up. Well, piling it up might be a reversal indicator for a down clue. And there we have the H for hard. And currency might be silver, but we take away the V for versus or against. And this one should begin with an I. Ready to be displayed, given traditional punishment, not quite. In in order, in ready to be displayed. Yeah, I'm not quite. Oh, I'm wondering if it could be. No, too many letters in traditional that we might punish or anagram that. All right, how about let's do continue on with the downs. This vegetable supplies makeup material mostly wild. I think could it be this vegetable supplies makeup as the definition? And then we get the word material. Oh, well, it's 8 letters. I was going to say mostly we might shorten it and then anagram it to be wild, but no, it's already 8 letters. No, don't see it. One is Mr. Opera when working. I'm wondering if working is an anagram indicator, and let's see, I think it would be is Mr. Opera is 9 letters, so maybe I for one on top of that. Is it going to be a famous opera singer? Pavarotti? Well, too short anyway. Yeah, I won't use the anagram helper yet. We'll try and get a letter or two. Regret accommodating 2 navies on large or small stretch of water. Regret is often rue, and I wonder if that accommodates 2 navies. Well, one might be RN for the Royal Navy. Another might be navy blue, but it's only a 6-letter answer. Yeah, maybe regret is the definition. Although the accommodating seems like a word, placement word. Large or small, LORS. Yeah, maybe it's a stretch of water. All right, let's go back to the acrosses. I'm into band performer backing heavy metal. Again, I'm into sounds like word positioning. So I think it might be a heavy metal. A band can be just like a donut can be an O. I think band could be an O. I don't know. Performer backing sounds like a word for a performer going backwards. I'm wondering if it could be something like osmium. Is that a heavy? The name is in the back of my mind. I may have to go to Wikipedia and look at heavy metals later. All right. Ancient city. Hospital getting behind cricketer. Well, luckily we have the A and the H. I would have been thinking of an ancient city in Greece or Rome. But I think it's going to be Bath. And so H for hospital gets behind a cricketer. You might say he's a bat, I suppose. Or, yeah, not exactly sure on the terminology. Keen on tirade about the French being prejudiced. I think prejudiced is going to be the definition. A tirade might be a rant which goes about le or la. So it might be something like relent. What's that word for prejudiced? Not sure about that. All right, podcasts out a fraction. I think it's going to be a fraction. Because of the O, I'm thinking immediately of fourth. Oh, I think this is a very modern homophone indicator. We always see something like on the radio. But I think if you heard it in a podcast and somebody said, I went out, they might say, I went forth, Forth. But I think it might be, um, yeah, I like that. Anything that modernizes the crossword and reduces the number of archaic references, I think is a good thing. All right, vehicles circling old cathedral city in a rough manner. I think in a rough manner it could indicate an anagram, but I think that's going to be the definition because vehicles circling sounds like going around. Maybe O for old plus in fact we often see Ely as a cathedral city, which makes a nice adverb ending for in a rough manner. So not crudely, but cars, of course, would be the obvious vehicles. And so if they go around the O for old, we get coarsely. Rascal in rude vein making bend. I'm thinking I'm thinking bend is the definition, and maybe rude is an anagram indicator of vein. We might begin IN, and then we would end in VE, I think, and we have to put a rascal. Oh, what are our words for a rascal? I think a cad is worse than a rascal, but it would mean a bend. Yeah. Oh, is there a word in curve? A cur? But I don't think a cur is a rascal. Cur is more of a knave, I think. All right. One's run into stubborn guy offering traditional Christmas festivities. So I think it is traditional Christmas festivities, but is it like a generic Yuletide type thing or specific like carols or some sort of Christmas service? Stubborn guy might be a mule, maybe? One's run into now, is run just a positioning word or is it going to be R for run? No, I don't see that. Footwear support, repositioned toes here. Seems like we're going to anagram toes here. So a footwear support. I was immediately thinking of arch support, something like that, but no, it's a shoe tree, where you would hang up your shoes, I suppose. Ancient governor retaining corner in fine weather. All right, I think we are going to have an ancient governor. I immediately think of Herod would be very timely, but retaining a corner. Can C be corner? And but what would the word for fine weather be? No. Well turned out, obvious personal statement about actual dressing. Wow. My first thought is that out is an anagram indicator. Could it be an anagram of well turned? But I think it just leaves too much verbiage for the definition and it's just phrased so cryptically. So I'm thinking well turned out might be the definition, and an obvious personal statement might be something like I am me, and that would go around, I don't know what actual dressing. Could that be an anagram of actual? No. Question about energy in dairy product. Well, the first question word I thought of was why which if it goes about E for energy gives you Hui, which I only know from the nursery rhyme. Flower pot, not finished by our group. I'm thinking it's going to, excuse me, be a flower. A pot not finished might simply be PO. And then our group, I don't know what that would be. No, success for woman also curtailed till now. I'm thinking it's going to be a word that means till now. And I arrived at that because I was thinking also it can simply be to, TOO. And if that's curtailed, then it's one of those. Yeah. So I think success is a hit and a woman might be her. I think we had a very similar clue not too long ago, which definitely makes it easier when you've seen a similar clue before. All right, back to the Downs. Oh, I should think about my merry. If I'm right, this about the KIRIHIMETE, this would be a K. This vegetable. Do I know a vegetable beginning with K? Kale. Supplies makeup material, mostly wild. No, and then this would begin with an I, which is possible. Oh yes, I think we may have had this word in a clue before. An impresario might put on an opera, and I'm pretty sure that's an anagram of I is Mr. Opera. All right, so then this would begin with an R. So maybe a regret, rueful, regret accommodating two navies on large. And then maybe, yeah, I'm thinking the L is the on large. And a small stretch of water. So I think it might be Rue, and I think Navy, I suppose if Royal Navy is RN, then Navy is simply N, and we have two of those. I vaguely know this word runnel. I'm guessing it's going to be a stream of some kind, but let me pause and look it up. Yes, it's a rivulet or a small brook. All right. Core in the armor failing, extended military training. I presume it's going to be military training. Isn't there a range something? But what's the wordplay? Sounds like core goes inside something. Failing, I thought it might be an anagram of armor. Still might be, but core plus armor is 11 letters. I think I'll come back to that one. C, one tour is arranged for top soloists. Is it going to be top soloists? Virtuosi, or however you pronounce it, I'm thinking. Virtuosi. One tour. We definitely have I and tour. Oh, it might be even tour is. I'm not sure about where the V is coming from. And of course, I wasn't sure about the V. I was just guessing at that. it did turn out to be helpful, but yeah, all right. I think I'm going to make a note. Just I'll leave it in for now, but we will check it later. Honored recently after burying waste. So I think honored might be the definition, and we have put a word for recently after burying waste with a question mark. Well, what is that going to be? What would recently be? No. Um, a lot of resistance to harem pants. Ah, well, pants, of course, can mean bad in British slang, so I'm thinking we're going to anagram harem, however you want to pronounce it, at the end. But what are the first two letters going to be? And is resistance part of the definition, or is that going to supply the first two letters? A lot. What could that be? Something like wealthy? I think that fits, but no, we need an R and an M. Yeah, but oh yeah, sorry, it's going to be an anagram of to harem. I don't know why I failed to see that. I was just thinking it was going to be one thing after another. Let's try the anagram helper. It's Christmas. We can treat ourselves. Okay. And it should be a lot of. So I think it's going to be a something ohm. Is it going to be a tera ohm? Is that a lot of resistance in electrical speak? I'm going to pause and look it up. Yes, tera ohm is 10 to the power of 12 ohms. All right, buzzing with rising passion, they respond sharply when struck. Oh, yeah. I don't think I've ever actually had a doctor do this test on me, but certainly every television program you watched in the 70s in a comedy sketch where they go to the doctor, they always tap them on the knee or just below the knee with a little hammer to test their reaction. So that the humerus, I suppose. Oh, the humerus is in your elbow. Maybe there's one in your knee. I'm showing my ignorance, but I think it might be humeri. Yeah, so buzzing is hum, and passion can be ire, which is rising. All right, let me pause and look up the humerus. Yeah, it's just the bone in the arm. I think I was just confusing myself with the knee test, because certainly if you hit your humerus, you'll know all about it. All right, elegant articles taken from bar near midnight. I'm thinking the definition is elegant. Articles can be a, an, or the, but taken from bar and then near midnight. Midnight could be an M. No, I don't see it. Sharpen. Oh, well, with the W and the E, I'm thinking whet. That's another question. Ah, yes, having European instead of American. So what? Changing A for American to E for European becomes whet. All right, we've looked at everything once, I believe. Yeah, this is looking like the anagram of vein and we have to put a rascal inside. All right, I'm going to pause and look up this word incurve and see if that is actually a word. Yes, it's a verb and a noun. I'm just not sure I would have thought of. To me, I suppose rascal. We always sort of, oh, you rascal. It's not too sharp a criticism, whereas a cur definitely would be. But all right. Oh, yes, I think this is. We've had this before. I think. Is it a route march? But how would that work? Yeah, so it's the armor is failing or being anagrammed, and then we put C for core inside it. I believe that is how it's working. Oh, 25 as a flower. I immediately think crocus. Ah, yes, and the pot is a crock, doesn't finish, and our group is simply us. All right, ooh, I'm thinking immaculate would be well turned out. An obvious personal statement. Oh, it is. Well, I said I am me, but it's I'm me, which goes about aculat. So an anagram of actual. All right. Bottom left is done. Let's try 8 across again. See if we can finish the left half. President in the immediate future. Well, that could be nigh as well, but blocked by the gods. Who is this president? Oh, what if it's a president's name who is blocked by the, and then the definition is gods. Um, oh, the pantheon. But then it would leave us Panon. President. President is simply P. And in the immediate future would be anon. Of course, we don't use that word too much these days. All right, so this will be in ready to be displayed, given traditional punishment. Not quite. So I'm thinking not quite is the definition, but it might also be an and lit where it's saying not given punishment, maybe. Ah, no, I think it might be if something is in stock, I would say ready to be sold, excuse me. But I think a traditional punishment might be to put in the stocks and not quite saying, well, we're missing a letter from in stocks. All right, this definitely looks like it begins with K, Mary, K-I-R. Oh, yes, and here we have our R-I-H-I, and I don't know, am I cheating by guessing that Pangakupu would have Merry Christmas in Maori and using those letters? Please let me know if you approve of that or not. Although I sometimes feel, or actually I often feel, we need all the help we can get. Let's see. Yeah, so all right, let me go back to my vegetable makeup. Mostly wild. Oh, no, don't get it. Um, I'm gonna look up osmium And if it's not that, I look up other heavy metals. Well, apparently it's one of the densest materials, and it is a metal, but I didn't see it called a heavy metal, but maybe the fact that it's dense makes it heavy. So I'm into band performer backing. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure of that. Because it is Christmas Eve, I'm going to go ahead and use the check this button. It is right, so we'll have to rely on the good people at 15 squared to explain why. Yeah, I'm just not seeing what the performer. Oh, it might be the word muso, which was always used disparagingly, certainly back in the punk and new wave days, about somebody who actually knew how to play their instrument or knew music theory. They were a muso. And so we do have muso backwards, and then I'm goes into that. But I don't know why band performer. Anyway, I think that must be the explanation, but 15 squared will confirm. All right, keen on. I presume it's going. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is the one I thought was going to end maybe in rant. So maybe actually it ends in rant. And oh, yes, if you're keen on somebody or something, you're into them or it. And then we have our le and prejudiced, intolerant, of course. All right, this vegetables supplies. Oh, I know there's the makeup Kohl, Kohl. So I think it might be something to do with that. And is there a type of cabbage or something that's KOH? Uh, I'm going to have to pause. Vegetables and makeup are not my strong suits, but what is my strong suit? I don't know. Well, there is a vegetable, funnily enough, called kohlrabi, or I don't know how it's pronounced. And it's sometimes called German turnip or German cabbage. And I think it's more closely related to cabbages, but it certainly from the photograph does look a bit like a turnip. So, yeah, so the makeup material is the coal, and then wild is rabid, but mostly we're dropping the D. All right. So now ones. Oh, so I wonder if it could be IS and R. Ah, yes, and if you put that inside of the mule, you get misrule. Oh, I think this is like some ancient or maybe Middle Ages tradition where laws are suspended and you can have misrule. Probably goes back to pagan times. But anyway, let me pause and look up misrule. Yes, so actually I've sort of remembered pretty accurately, although not the pagan part, although it may go back to ancient Rome. But the Feast of Fools, traditionally January 1st, celebrated by the clergy during the Middle Ages, initially in southern France, and then in Britain, where it was outlawed, I think, and then re-allowed, but then Elizabeth I outlawed it again, but it continued on in some places where one person, the fool, would be appointed the bishop or some high-ranking clergy. And yeah, so funny custom. All right, just the lower right. Let's try honored recently. If it ends in TE, that is funny. After burying waste. Oh, I wonder if recently could be late, of late. and that is burying something for waste. Oh, honored, I think, with laurels might be a laureate. So then which A is the A in late? Ah, yes, urea is the waste. Bodily waste, of course. All right. Our ancient governor now retaining corner in fine weather. I don't think C can be corner, so I'm thinking it's going to be some short word, maybe to corner somebody or to cut corners. But fine, I think fine weather is, no, maybe, oh, fine weather. Well, I was going to say balmy weather, but no, that's not going to work. So maybe it is an ancient governor. No, don't see that. And here's our elegant. Yeah, again, having a TE and that E there. Is it going to be another EATE? Could it mean near, well, the question mark, near midnight? Yeah, bar, of course, can be a place you buy drinks, but it can also, be to bar, to forbid, or a bar, some kind of stick, bar of music. Yeah, really struggling with these last two. All right, I think because I need to get a move on and prepare for Christmas, I will use wordplays.com. Well, the second possibility I think is probably the right one, although I would quibble with the definition of elegant for svelte. I thought svelte just meant slim, but I may be wrong. But I think, sure enough, bar is not the drinking bar, but save, except, and then midnight, near midnight would be late, and we take away the A's, the articles from those two. All right, so now if it's an ancient governor, oh, I'm wondering if fine weather might be sun and a corner. Oh, I think if you corner the market, you hog it. So I'm thinking a shogun. Now, I actually, if you'd asked me what a shogun meant, I would have said maybe a warrior of some kind, but it must be a governor. I hear the new television series is good, or I say new, recent. Maybe I'll try and track that down somewhere. Anyway, I think that's everything. Let's check all. Looks like everything is still there. I was definitely helped by my little bit of preparation looking up Merry Christmas in Maori. All right, let's head over to 15 Squared and get a couple of these explained. All right, the blog today is by Peter O. Some tricky stuff here. Oh, he didn't parse forth, so hopefully someone in the comments will. And then the top and bottom lines, read that. One hardly needs to know the language to recognize this as Maori Merry Christmas. I wish the same to Pangakupu and all. All right. Yeah, sure enough, a muso is a musician or band performer. Bath, I got. Da 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 da. Okay, in curve, yeah, Kerr is a rascal. Not sure I agree with that. And then the Lord of Misrule was appointed to oversee Christmastide revelries and the New Year Feast of Fools. Ah, okay, it wasn't just New Year. I think I got all of those. And then on the downs, I think just 16. V-Day, yeah, we've had that before. I just didn't remember. C, all right, plus I, and then tour is anagram. All right. All right, let's see. Parsing of svelte was completely beyond me. Yeah, so here Pauline, fourth sounding like podcast, a fourth out. So I think Pauline is right. All right, looks like Dave Ellison asked AI to explain this, and it came up with complete nonsense, as AIs will sometimes do. All right, well, I think that's enough festive. I'm sure you have better things to do on Christmas Day or whenever you might be watching this. If you're watching this later in the year, you're probably wondering why I'm wearing a silly hat. Anyway, I'd like to take the opportunity to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas or whatever holiday you're celebrating, and to thank you for sticking with me through these videos. Anyway, have a great day.